Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Welcome, here we go. Welcome to worship today. Just reminder that we're just regular folks who believe and know in our hearts that God's love is for everyone, no matter who you are or how you self-identify. God's love is for everyone. We have quite a few announcements this morning. Bible study will not meet this Tuesday. We will resume in person and via Facebook Live on November 28th at 7 p.m. Our next congregational meeting will be today after worship service. Our children's and youth coat ministry is underway. We know of 3 young people who have needs for a coat. Boys sizes 14-16, purple and black, large, extra large, blue and black, and 12-14, red and black. And just as a little bit of an update, we recently delivered several coats, sweaters, and jackets to Total Action for Progress, also known as TAP. Some of you may know it as Tap into Hope. We will continue to take donations throughout the fall and winter season. TAP has also mentioned the need for blankets, caps, gloves, and other items such as these help their clients stay warm in the winter. MCCVR is blessed to be able to share a bit of assistance for folks for the Thanksgiving season. Our gift cards to recipients will be delivered after the congregational meeting today. And just by way of announcements, we were able to help out 8 either families or individuals with that. So that's beautiful. What an amazing gift it is to share that with folks. On November 21st, there will be a special community Thanksgiving worship service and fellowship. The event will be held at Williams Memorial Baptist Church at 7 o'clock p.m. If you've ever heard of the Valley Youth Baptist Choir, they will be singing during the service. And just a little bit of information for you. At least 11 area congregations will be represented. Represented? Is that a word? Represented. Goodness. Everyone is welcome to attend, and this is an opportunity to connect with others and share in a community-wide service. On Thanksgiving Day, Valley Community Church has invited those who do not have family or who have nowhere to go on Thanksgiving Day to attend a special gathering on that day for dinner. The gathering starts at 1 p.m. There is a sign-up sheet in the fellowship area for those wishing to attend. The sign-up sheet is there so they'll know how much turkey to buy. Yes. On this Saturday after Thanksgiving, Valley Community Church has invited us to be a part of decorating the church for Christmas. We will gather at 10 a.m. and there will be coffee and donuts. This is an excellent opportunity to join with Valley to help prepare the sanctuary and the church for the Christmas season.
The date for me, I didn't hear that.
The day at the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So, yeah. And we do say welcome. Thanks for being here. I love it that during this time of the year where we can share our thanks and our thankfulness. And we have an opportunity to do that today. As we pass the peace, we can share a word of thanks for folks, for who they are and what they mean to us. And if you feel so inclined, don't forget to talk to the folks back there, either live or going to watch the recording later on. So, the peace of Christ be with you.
And also with you.
Thank you. Go love on somebody. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. We miss you when you're not here, but I also understand that for some, this is the perfect way that you can join us in worship. So thank you for tuning in, either live or at another time via the recording. I hope and I pray that you are doing well. Know that we love you, and know, hey, buddy, and know that we miss you, like I said, when you're not here. We hope to see you soon, and hope you have a beautiful, blessed Thanksgiving.
This is Mo and Kathy. Then we will go Kathy, and then we'll shoot.
What's your name?
This girl, and she's AJ.
We got playing last night.
Mom.
We did mine.
So suppose we go with some hungry people.
I'm gonna go.
Jay, you broke my heart.
I know.
Get over here.
Okay, we are online, and we want to say that this next song is a.
We have
Oh, it's a children's.
Yeah, Colton's here today.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, Colton. Hey, buddy. Hey, bud. Come on up. And you know, hey, Colton, you know we got some big kids in here too? You know what? That's a big kid right there. Oh, not Granny. Not Granny. Well, I'm a big kid. Does that count, buddy? You don't know? That's okay not to know, buddy. But you know what? I am glad to see you today. What is coming up in a few days? Thanksgiving. Oh, Thanksgiving. Can I ask you a question? Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. How about that? Do you know what it means to say thank you? I know you do, because I know Granny makes you do it. Thank you, yeah. So like if someone opens the door for you, or if someone gives you a high five like this, yeah. Hey, Colton, thank you for giving me that cool high five, man. Yeah, so we say thank you. But this coming Thanksgiving, buddy, we have a chance to be thankful, even every day, for the good things that we have. Like Granny, right? Yeah, we got this, We have a chance to be thankful for puppy dogs. What else can we be thankful for? You don't know, it's okay, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. But we got, how about school friends? You have school friends or neighborhood friends? Okay, you got friends, okay. You got family members that played with you too, right? Right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I saw a picture of you watching the movie this morning. What was that movie?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for everyone.
Nice. Did you like that movie? So we can say thank you for the movie, right? It made us smile. So this week, let's take some time to think about the good things in our life and just say thank you. All right, cool. Good job, bud. Nice. Thank you for the high five, bud.
Like I was saying before, we have this new song we want to work out with you all. And you're going to help us with this. And yes, some of them are grinning out there. Well, it's a song that's pretty famous. It's three different ways it's been done. One by Aaron Copland, one by the Shakers, the Shakers tune, and the other was the Lord of the Dance. And so we're going to do this, and in the chorus, which will be up there on the board, when it comes up, I'll point to you and say, this is the chorus. It's very simple and very free. It really is a nice little tune. So I'm going to start this off. This is my debut. I haven't played clarinet since I was in college, I guess, and that's been a while. So here we go. Oh, sure, I can teach it, yeah. It goes like this. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. Now, does somebody have the clicker? Because we have, because we have the words up there for you.
I'm sorry, I didn't. That's all right. Laura, do you want me to go?
Yeah, that was it, right there.
Yeah,
So
this
you'll
is
see,
a
you'll have-
very
letting y'all wing it first.
fanciful way of doing this of Jesus' life, kind of. So, here we go.
I danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my
Okay, everyone ready?
Dancers, wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced for the scribe and the Pharisees, but they would not dance and they would not follow me. I danced for the fishermen, for James and John. They came with me and the dance went on. Dancers, wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced on the Sabbath and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They whipped and they stripped and they hung me on high, and they left me there on the cross to die. Dancers, wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced on a Friday when the sky turned black. It's hard few announcements that we do need to give today. We have an extra candle here today in honor of Transgender Day of Remembrance tomorrow. And I will get to that in just a little bit. I do want to share that Ben, I heard from Ben this morning, and he's not here, and he wanted to share that he misses and loves us very much. He's under the weather and he's got a lot going on, and so he asks for prayers from us. And so yeah, there's that. I also want to say thanks for those who have been so diligent in praying when it's on your heart for Sharon, a friend of our church. Her life and legacy is still impacting people, even though she is has grown her wings now. Some of you may know or remember or have heard of a lady named Jenny Bradley. She attended over at 806 Jameson. Kathy, will you take that, please?
Yes. This is some hard news to hear, but Jenny Bradley passed this week. She had had some heart troubles for some time. And the nice part about this is that she and Don knew what was going on, and they were together. And in fact, she took her last breath in his arms. And it was very peaceful, very beautiful. His children are up here with him, providing him with lots of comfort. There's not going to be a service per se at her request, but typical of Jenny, there will be a party. There will be a party. It's going to be later. We don't know when, but we will certainly let you know. But our hearts really go out to Don, and we do want to keep him in prayer. Jenny served as a board member here for a number of years, and she kind of came to this church tripping over something. She was here based on a grant to help us write a grant and to do some things on our board a number of years ago. And she fell in love with this church. And she stayed and became a member and was a board member for a long time. We will remember her and her spark. And if you want to read an amazing obituary, it is in the newspaper as of today. You can Google Jenny Bradley obit, and it's there. It's Jenny Hughes Bradley, and there's another name in there somewhere. Amazing woman in the Lord, and some things that happen. Also, Sharon does have some arrangements for her celebration of life, and it will in fact be a celebration. So if those of you want to come, it is going to be Saturday, December the 2nd. So that's after the Thanksgiving holiday. Saturday the 2nd at 11 a.m. at Jerusalem Baptist Church. And we'll put that on Facebook as well, if that's too much to remember. She really appreciated this church. She appreciated the chance to come and do her testimony here, which, if you were here, was just plumb amazing. Well, her passing was no different. It was an amazing time. So, thank you.
Thank you. We also have another friend of the church. I don't have permission to share, but they are in the hospital with pneumonia. And so prayers for that person and their spouse. And I'm sure that there are others that could use our prayers. Oh, no, it didn't. No. Sorry, y'all, for the interruption. So maybe I just need to speak louder. So yeah, prayers for a friend of our church who's in the hospital. I have prayers for a friend of mine. She is starting a brand new job tomorrow, and she's a little nervous. She hasn't done registered nurse. She's a nurse practitioner. She hasn't done registered nurse work in a while, and not that there's too much awful difference, but she's doing something new with her professional, in her professional capacity. And she's a little nervous, but yeah. And I have prayers for my sister-in-law. I found out that last week she had a mild heart attack. And my dad, he's no spring chicken, but he's doing everything that he can to kind of help her out and my brother through this time, because y'all know that heart attacks are no joke. So, yeah. Anybody get some praise? God praise?
Praises, my brother was in the hospital for something pretty serious. He is 98% reliant on a pacemaker. And he also has some type of internal defibrillator. I don't think I can say that again, but I think you know what I mean. And it was not working correctly. They decided to adjust with medications, which meant he had to be in there for several days. And it was one of those things where they would need to shot paddles if the meds didn't work. Well, fortunately they did, and he got home last night.
Oh,
So praises.
yes, good praise, that's awesome. Yeah, Laura, what you got?
I'll just say praises for a really good birthday on Friday. I had lots of wonderful well wishes throughout the week and on Friday, and I won't show y'all because they're still healing and kind of grody, but I got my first tattoos, which was kind of cool, and I got them and kind of symbolic of my face. So I'll share those as they get a little bit better, but I don't know, God was really blessed me this birthday. I've had some really terrible birthdays in the past, in terms of like struggling with depression and other type things, and this is one of the good ones, so I was really thankful for that.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you for those praises. Liz, what you got?
My brother John is 20 years older than me, and he goes 3 days a week to the Y and the AOA, and he goes and walks all over the Memphis Zoo, which is very big, afterward, every time the weather's good, any day, 3 to 4 days a week. And he had low heart rate, low blood pressure, or high blood pressure. So he was in the hospital. He has a cardiologist, and he has, is this going to be a pacemaker? Is this going to be whatever? His cardiologist said, no, go home.
Oh goodness, just don't.
Go home. I mean, I'm sure you have to have the way his spelling is, Kathy, you and I would crack up. But echocardiogram, and he just kept going and going and going, and he's going, okay, go home.
Awesome.
But it was good. I'm happy for my brother because he's very active, and he's very generous, and he's sweet. And we say good night and we say good morning every day.
Good.
It's good.
That's great. Awesome.
Yay, John.
Yay! Again, cardiac issues. Yeah, they're no joke, and when you get sent home, that's kind of cool. Anybody got any unspoken? Oh, Mo's got a.
Praise for this church family
Yes.
who stay in there and get the job done, and like this morning, they came up there and did all they could to make that song work. And they did a good job.
Yep.
And I was very happy with, it was just a fun piece, and that's the way we like to do it sometimes, just have fun. So I praises to you all for all that you do for the church.
Absolutely.
I'll practice singing better because I haven't sung solo in a very long time.
You did great.
Thank you.
You did great.
You know what? It's a joyful noise, right?
It sure
It
is.
leaves our lips, and it's automatic praise to God.
Yeah.
God accepts our gift. So when I sing, God kind of goes. But
You
To
do.
connect with your transgender day, please let me. I have a praise.
Okay.
I have someone who has had a solid 10 years as herself. She's a hockey lovely person who's literally been canvassing for political things, talking to someone. I have tickets, I'm taking you to the hockey game. I mean, she's had a wonderful life. She hikes all the time. She's up in Portland. She's traveled and done things just by herself. And she is I guess, the epitome of what every trans person wants. The freedom to be yourself without fear, or at least exhibited fear, not necessarily out there, not hiding from anything. She's just out. She's beautiful. She wears pink. She has a pink Christmas tree. I mean,
Very nice. Very nice. Well, I do want to kind of take a few moments in just a moment. I do want to find out if there are any unspoken prayers from you all. Would you take a look around the room and you have an opportunity to pray for that person throughout the week? Don't forget to take your bulletin home today. Put it somewhere where you'll see it and let it serve as a reminder of praying for folks, of praying for the church, praying for each other. And you know what? Don't forget yourselves. You know, I had to pray for myself this week. Kind of stumbled a little bit, figuratively, and I had to pray for me. And sometimes forgiving ourselves is a challenge. But the Transgender Day of Remembrance is tomorrow, and I did not want that to slip by today. It's an opportunity for us to remember those who are victims of anti-transgender and non-binary violence. And looking through the statistic sheets, it was just heartbreaking that folks can't be who they are without another person saying, "How dare you?" And it's one thing. No, it's not. Even words can tear us down. And that is a form of violence. I remember the first time I was called the F word, but that is nothing compared to what a trans and non-binary person has to walk with every day. And it breaks my heart. So today we remember those who are the victims of the violence and the hate. And I did find something. It's called the Parrotfish poem. The gender you were born will always stay the same. Quote. Tell that to the parrotfish, once male, now female, without shame. It's unnatural. It's against science and God. Tell that to the clownfish, who isn't a fraud. I will always see you as one of the girls. Tell that to the reed frog, now a diamond among pearls. DNA and chromosomes define your gender. Tell that to the lioness who has a mane and isn't so slender. We transgender are all around. Look close enough and we can be found. Those public bathrooms you're scared to go in, there are trans people there through the walls so thin. We're all around causing no harm at all. All we want is the freedom to stand tall. So when you see us and feel the need to beat us, kill us, watch us bleed, as the crimson spreads out, pulling in the cobbles below, take a step back and look at the seeds that you sow. The world you're showing to the children you raise, in their mind remembered the hatred now stays. So teach love, not hate, to the people you know. Then step back and watch as we flourish and grow. Amen. Let's go to God in prayer. Loving God, Almighty God, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and Prince of Peace, I ask that you be that just now, Prince of Peace. Move here in this place today, Lord. Bring us the peace that we so desperately seek. And when we have that peace, give us the courage to share a bit of that peace with others. For the praises and the prayers today, Lord, I just pray that you would scoop them all up and hold them to your heart, Lord. And if the storm cannot be calmed, calm the child. Dance with the praises. Wipe the tears away. We thank you for you, Lord. That you, quote unquote, Lord, don't make no junk. For all our trans and non-binary siblings. We thank you for them. For them, Lord. These beautiful hearts and souls. Help us, Lord, to do more than just be aware. Help us to find ways to be an ally, to stand beside in whatever way we can. And we give you thanks for lives of love and authenticity, the legacy, Lord, that will be left behind for our transgender and non-binary siblings. Thank you for a legacy of love. May we have the courage to stand for those who cannot. May we have the courage to be a voice when others have lost or have had their voice stolen. May we have the courage to be the hands and the feet that help others know hope, healing, and love. I thank you for this church, Lord. I thank you for this beautiful, beautiful church. And I thank you for you. In your holy, precious name. Amen.
All right, well, I was going to say something else, but I feel called now after the poem that Rhonda just shared to share this other little tidbit as a good offering call. When I was a religious studies major in college, and my very first Old Testament class, my very first semester of school, was a real kind of eye-opener as a tender young 18-year-old who only ever knew what it was to be a Southern Baptist, and kind of like, oh, there's a whole wide world of knowledge about God that I didn't know. But one of the very first things I remember we were taught was that the Tetragrammaton, or Yahweh, the name that God gave to Moses, I was always taught it's I am who I am. But in the Hebrew, it actually has a future tense bend to it. So it's almost more like I will be who I will be. And I have always thought that to mean that very much at the heart of the Trinity, there is this becoming, that God is always becoming something more and something even greater, that's just who our God is. And I think as people, we are always becoming. We grow up in age, we mature, we transform. And so I look at people who are transgender and non-binary as a beautiful and amazing testament of who the Trinity is. And I just am so thankful to be in a church that celebrates that. So I just wanted to share that. And as we collect the offering today, I just ask that you give as you're feeling led, whether that be money or if you're feeling led to help in ministry or whatever it might be, that you follow the call of the Spirit in that. Thank you.
If I see Jesus in every situation, God is our destination.
I see Jesus when life's stormy seas begin to roll, and the cares of this life weigh down my battered soul.
Peace, be still. God is with us. When I see Jesus in every situation, God is our destination.
I see Jesus in this world that's all around us. His love, it's
Peace be still. God lives in us. Will I see Jesus in every situation? God is our destination.
Shining through,
I see Jesus every time I look at you. I see Jesus every time I look at you.
Dear Lord, thank you so much for the gifts that were given today, and all the forms that they were given and will continue to be given. Thank you, especially for the opportunity we had to bless families for Thanksgiving this week, Lord. I just ask that you would take all of these things and bless them and multiply them for your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
The scriptures for today, the first one is John 15:16. You did not choose me, but I choose you, and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. And so that whatever you ask in my name, the Lord God will give you. This is my command. Love each other. Psalms 139, 1-10. Lord, you have examined me. You know me. You know when I sit down and when I stand up. Even from far away, you comprehend my plans. You study my traveling and resting. You are thoroughly familiar with all my ways. There isn't a word on my tongue, Lord, that you don't already know completely. You surround me, front and back. You put your hand on me. That kind of knowledge is too much for me, and it is so high above me that I can't reach it. Where could I go to get away from your spirit? Where could I go to escape your presence? If I went up to heaven, you would be there. If I went down to the grave, you would be there too. If I could fly on the wings of dawn, stopping to rest only on the far side of the ocean, even there, your hand would guide me. And even there, your strong hand would hold me tight.
Okay, let's go ahead, bye-bye.
No, you may not have it back. I keep these.
Thank you. Just one more reason. I'll get to that in a minute. When I was a little kid, lived in an area that was like it was a campground, but in the back of the campground there were places where people could put like single wide trailers or bigger RVs and that kind of thing. And so we rented a trailer all the way in the back of the campground area. It was on the Chickahominy River, named so for the Chickahominy tribe that is indigenous to that place. And for the kids in the neighborhood, and there were a lot of us, they had these humongous industrial-sized swings. Not those ones that like when you sit in them and you go real high and the swing set goes and then it goes. Y'all have one of those? We did. And my sister just about turned hers over every time she got home. But these jokers, they had these big, those things must have been this big around, big steel poles, and there must have been like 10 swings there. And they were so tall. So we neighborhood kids, we weren't the smartest of kids. And so my brother was the ringleader. Yeah, he would say, yes, I was. He's 3 years older, big brother, whatever. And so we would get on those swings and he'd say, well, let's see how high we can swing. And then let's jump out of the swing. Jump out of the swing. Well, I was never brave enough to go as high as my brother. I was also never as tall as my brother. He was a big dude, like strong, stocky, much taller than me, even in middle school time. And then there's one Saturday, I was waiting for my mama to get home from work, and it was just me out there on the swings. And that was the day I decided to let it rip. And let it rip I did. I mean, and you ever have that little voice that says, don't? Yeah, the little voice that says, don't. Well, I said, well, here I am. I'm swinging and I'm rolling and I'm swinging and I'm rolling. And I jump out of that swing. And I felt like an Army Ranger jumping out of a B-52. Arms and legs were flailing. I landed face first in the dirt. Ba-bam! I felt my belly button touch my spine. I had dirt in my nose. I had it in my eyes. I had it under my fingernails and a few other places. Of course, I laid there trying to catch my breath. I can still smell that dirt today. I can still smell it. And I'm sucking air. I learned a long time ago from my nurse friends, when you're sucking air, you're good. You're not going to die. You're not going to die. So, but I'm sucking air. And of course, I'm like, there might be some little girls in the parking lot, in the campground that are watching me. So I was going, wait, that was real. So I'm standing up, looking like I'm all big and bad, still trying to suck air. And here comes my mama. She didn't see what I was doing. But man, that was not a wise decision. Have you ever felt like in your world that you are falling like an Army Ranger out of a B-52? That was a humorous story. But to connect it to today, falling, free falling, no parachute, nothing to protect you. And that's hard. That's hard. But today, in our readings, especially in Psalm 139, we are reminded we are reminded of a huge promise. God knows when we sit down and when we stand up. God knows all of the plans that we have. Imagine that. Imagine the plans that we have, if they're good or not for good. Imagine God's like, I see that. It says, you study my traveling and resting. You are thoroughly familiar with all my ways. There isn't a word on my tongue, Lord, that completely. You surround me, front and back. You put your hand on me. And this person realizes the depth of that protection, the depth of what God does and wants to do for us. And says, it's David, by the way, that kind of knowledge is too much for me. It's so high above me that I can't reach it, but you know what? We can. David had been through a lot in his life. He is the one that Saul chased after to try to kill him, right? David had a lot of enemies. Even his own son tried to do a coup to get him off the throne. about your falling without a parachute? Oh, gracious. David had his share of ups and downs, and dear Lord, what in the world? I was talking to some folks yesterday that sometimes you ever just have things so tough that you're just like, hey, Jesus, I just need you to come on back. Come on, come on. Yeah, I've had a few moments like that in my life. But you see, God has promised to have God's hand on us. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. So what do we do then? We rely on what we know about God. We rely on God's promise of love. We rely on the promise of protection. Because you know, one of the things in the last, year or so that has really hit me hard is that sometimes God doesn't calm the storm. Sometimes God calms me. And sometimes I need that. Because the storms are sometimes so overwhelming. I feel battered and beaten against the rocks. And I cry out for help. And it feels like there is none. But God says, yes, I'm here. God doesn't just have our back. God's got our front, our top, our bottom, our sides. And some of us, God's got to have some pretty big arms to do that. Thank you, Jesus. And then sometimes God does something pretty spectacular. It's almost like God showed off a little bit, right? God sends people. Some of us have seen it through critters. Sometimes we need a sign of some sort that God is there. That God is fulfilling God's promise. When my dogs were alive, and my cat, and all my critters, that unconditional love was amazing. And even here, so many, even over the last, 23? Even over the last 21 years, God has sent people into my life that have said, Rhonda, I'm here for you. Some of y'all know my story. You know that we've had, Christine and I had like $25,000 worth of sewage damage in the house. God sent folks, in the basement. God sent folks to help us. Car broke down. Somebody came and picked me up to go to work. All kinds of other things, and I'm certain that you all have those kinds of stories. In fact, you got one you want to share? What's an example of when God showed up for you in the form of a human being? What you got, Bill?
Yeah, when I lost my job because of my legs, I had trouble with my legs. I had been replaced, and I was flat on my back, and also, this has happened many times. I've had cancer and the same thing. People have been there. We were low in cash because of it, and I can count on two hands, 10 people at least that have helped us financially in helping us day by day in things that we needed help with. So.
Anybody else got a story of when God had showed up with skin on?
Similarly, at a similar time, Mo just had her knee replaced when my disc in my neck literally blew up. And it's what made me become eventually permanently disabled. But there we were, neither one of us could work. I couldn't get out of bed, she couldn't walk. And there were two gentlemen that were in this church who hardly knew us. They came over for 6 months and changed our cat litter for us because we could not.
Wow. See? Something so, it seems so small to us, but when we can't do it, right? When we can't do it. What you got, Laura?
I don't know why this is the story that popped in my head. I think it's because it was one of those really terrible birthdays that I just mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
It was 2010. I woke up a little after midnight and I had a massive seizure. I didn't know it. Both my shoulders were broken. And I was living in Georgia at the time at grad school, and I called my mom and I didn't have any help. And I called a taxi to help get me to the hospital because at the time I didn't realize how bad I was unless I called an ambulance. And on the way to the hospital, I had apparently another seizure. And the taxi driver, I never got his name. I don't know who, I hope he's okay. Like, he got me where I needed to go. He made sure that I got in the hospital okay. He stayed with me until the nurses had me well in hand, and then he said, "You don't owe me a thing," and he just walked out the door. And I just, I kind of wonder, like, was that an angel? I don't know, but whoever he was, he was there when I needed him, and I don't know why that, God must, he reminded me of him right now, so I want to thank him, whoever he was.
That's right, and that's, you know what, it's never too late to say thank you, right? So yeah, I hear these stories of God with skin on, and just to kind of bring it back to today, I know that this week is the week of Thanksgiving. I also know that there are folks in my life that have had a very, very difficult week for various reasons. And I also know of folks who have lots to be thankful for. Even in the middle of grief, I have my neighbor who lost their granddaughter. Still thankful for her and her legacy. So this week, as we count our blessings, as we remember that God has got our back and has got our front and our bottoms of our feet, and top of our head, and whatever else God's got, as we remember that promise, let's also remember just one more reason, whatever that may be for you, to say thank you to God. And maybe, just maybe, we can be just one more reason others give thanks to God. Those out in Cyberland, this is your opportunity to get whatever it is that you need to celebrate communion with us. Some of y'all are waiting on me to say something else. Chicken tenders, crackers, whatever it is that you need, piece of pizza. At this point, whatever it is that will help you to remember this holy meal, this very holy time in our service. On the night before Jesus was crucified, he met in an upper room with those who had loved and followed him. And I would imagine that going through his head were all kinds of thoughts. But the ultimate one is love. At some point in that meal, he took bread from the table. He lifted it to heaven. He gave thanks for it. He blessed it. And he broke it. And he said, "This is my body. Take and eat of it, each of you." And at some point during the meal, he lifted a cup. He blessed it. He gave thanks for it. And he said, "This is my blood, poured out for you as a sign of a new and everlasting covenant, a covenant for the forgiveness of sins, poured out for all of you. As often as we eat of this bread and drink of this cup, may we do so in remembrance of him." Loving God, thank you for these elements. May they be reminders of your love, your guidance, your protection, your watching over us, and your promise of love. Bless them.